understand what I'm trying to say.
I see what she's saying.
Actually, it's not about what pastor says or what people say.
Is it more the praying?
No, it's not about see. Okay, you're praying.
It's about the intention.
That's the thing.
Yeah,
it's about the intention because I can see
so
why.
I'll tell you right now.
I feel like I didn't develop a relationship with God until like now.
Until now, but then there was a time you were going to church because it just
but she wasn't religious.
Because
but I wasn't spiritual.
But it was not because you were religious but not spiritual. Is that what you're saying?
Okay, yeah.
Lip gloss, check. Hoops, check. Perfume, check. Heels, toes, check, check. Contour, check. Waistline, check. Cocky, check. Ladies, cashion, check, check. Kill away, and away, and away.
What you're about to see is a bunch of beautiful ladies, all glammed up as usual and ready to share their viewpoint. Welcome to another exciting episode of Shotz and Glam. Today we're going to be talking about something early. As you can see, we're dressing all early and shit. Oh shit. And I am absolutely dressing for the occasion. I look like somebody's pastor. But before we talk about what we're going to talk about, let's take a shot first, guys. Cheers.
Oh my God, my hands can move.
Pastor Mrs. is taking shots.
You choke.
He choke. My short face is bad. Pastor Mrs.
I was talking about holy stuff.
So, the topic we'll be talking about today is religion versus spirituality. It's a very sensitive and broad and personal / general stuff. Like, it can be personal, it can be general, but it's something that I think we need to discuss. And do you guys think people are leaving religion and they're getting more spiritual? But like, what does religion / spirituality means to you guys? Are you guys religious or you're spiritual? Do you guys believe in afterlife and reincarnation? And I think we should start with, what does religion or spirituality mean to you? And we can start from goodness.
Oh wow, for me. Okay, for me, I feel like number one, the word is more spiritual than physical. That's one thing I believe. And then number two, what's religion? For me, religion is a belief. It can be belief from whatever you believe. It's like it's anything can be religion. Basically, it's a belief. You can believe if a stone, maybe you wanted to fall, you're walking and they wanted to fall, and then the stone maybe mistakenly just hold you and then you didn't fall. That's a religion. That's my belief that this stone saved my life. I'm believing that's why religion can be anything. It can be, well, that's why different people have a different religion. Then spirituality is internal. It's more of something you cannot explain, something extraordinary, that it's something you cannot explain with just the mouth, but just using your mind, your soul, and your body to I don't know how I'm going to put it. You cannot really explain it. Spirituality is something you cannot explain it with your mouth. You need to go in, you need to use all your inner part of yourself to explain what's going on. So yeah, that's basically what difference between religion and spirituality.
Jesse.
I definitely agree with what you said. Like, spirituality, you sort of you feel it more.
Yeah.
And I feel like you're more in touch with more things in general. But with religion, you're more in tune with the Lord and, everything that you read from whichever Bible that you follow. But I feel like spirituality, you feel it on a deeper level, and it's more like a very broad spectrum.
True.
Um, Definitely more broad than religion, but I mean, either one can be good for you. It's just whatever works for you, whatever's best for you, whatever you feel more comfortable with. Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense. Shola, what do you?
I mean, for like spiritual, for me, I think it's like it's more like a connection, you know, with your mind,
That's what.
body, and your soul, and then like religion. It's just a belief, like you know how like people have like different religion, like we have like Islam, some people like we have like the Hindu, and then we have like people that you know Christians, like it's a lot of like people like even worship like gods in like some villages and stuff,
Yeah.
like
Traditional religion.
like for us, like in Nigeria, like I think back in the days, but I don't know if people still like worship all those kind of things. Like we have like the Shango, people worship like you know god of iron, or people like the goddess of water. Like people used to worship that back in the days before they brought like Christianity or Islam into that.
Yeah.
So for me, I feel like religion is more of like if people are religious, that means they go to like a particular setting, most of the time with other people to worship whatever they all believe in. So it's usually more like in a group. And everybody go there, like everybody goes to a church because Christianity is the religion, and everybody go to like mosque because Islam is the religion. So they go in a group, like it's more like group, and you all worship and you follow certain stuff, and you probably do things certain way, stuff you don't eat or stuff you don't say, or all that kind of stuff. But spirituality is more personal, so it's more of like you connecting with whatever you choose to connect with, like you knowing that there's a supreme being and talking to it in your own way. Like it could be like meditation. So
And
maybe
that's
you
what I
just
wanna
like
say.
to sit
I wanted to say like it's not about it's not about religion, like who you're talking to. It's about your mindset,
The mind,
like,
the body,
yeah,
and
your
the
body.
soul.
You're trying to connect both. You know, sometimes like right now I'm talking, right? I'm talking with my mind. My body is also, my hands are working, and that's my body. And then now spirituality is connecting everything together, but not in a physical way, but in basically like in your mindset.
in your mind. And I feel like goodness said earlier that life is more spiritual than physical, and it's very true. I feel like there's some forces, there's some energy that you can't see but you can feel, or there's some certain, like I believe in all these jinn, they call it jinn in Islam.
Yeah.
um I don't know the English for it, but all these like spirits that you can't see. I feel like some of them do exist. Like they're just some forces
they do
that
exist.
exist. And spirituality is inside religion. So it's just like a bunch of people that are religious gather together to perform their own spirituality in similar ways. So if they align together, then they come together in a group. So yeah, that's my own knowledge.
Yeah.
Can go.
I would agree with you on that. But just picking back on the whole religion and spirituality, I also believe that the world, like what you said, is very spiritual because there's a lot of spiritual things. I don't know how to put in proper English.
Things that are
But-
unexplained that you can.
Yeah,
Explain.
I can't explain it.
Yeah.
And because I come from a very spiritual background where I have some family members that are mediums, so it was always a whole conversation growing up on religion because we also grew up going to like an Anglican church, which is similar to like your Catholic churches, that follows like the Old Testament. So I guess, right? So I guess like growing up, we were told in the Western churches that, oh, it's evil if you believe in this and this, traditional stuff that my ancestors, have done for so many years. So I guess growing up, I was kind of confused with what religion and spirituality is. And I guess when I got older, I just put it in my own words that religion is not something I'm going to put as a label, but it's what I believe in, because I do believe that even in spirituality, there is a higher power. It depends which higher power you want to serve, right? So instead of putting a label on what religion or denomination I'm in, I'm just going to say, I know there is a God, I know that there's a higher power also from experience of meeting mediums, meeting people that connect with different forces, having my own spiritual encounters with like ghosts and stuff. So to understand what spirituality is and what believing in a higher power is, and I know most people say God because there is a higher power. It's just
There
how
really is.
you decide to follow it. But I think the world has also tried to make religion look bad because of what religion has also done to so many people.
Yes.
But I could go on and on. But yeah, that's my whole interpretation of my understanding, especially when I'm old and understanding, what I choose to believe in and what I choose to go with.
Makes sense. Nneka.
I think religion was always confusing in my household because, like, my parents, I feel like, went about it completely different. Like, my mom went to Anglican churches, and my dad used to, like, preach and stuff. And he always used to tell us, like, church is not just a building, but it's also a temple. Like, the definition of a church is a temple, and your body is a temple as well. And so he always used to tell us, like, church is within, and, like, spirit. I feel like with spirituality, that's more of I like kind of piggybacking off what you said, like how religion is something you follow. It's a practice. It's kind of like if you want to follow this religion, there's like a set of rules to kind of, I guess, appropriately follow that religion. Like if you're going to be Christian, you have to do this. If you're going to, be Muslim, you have to do this. If you're going to be Jewish, you have to do this. Whereas like I think spirituality is like a practice, and that like whatever you believe in, I think spirituality or being spiritual is you practicing how you serve your higher power. So if you're like if you're Muslim, you go to the mosque and you get on your knees and you do your thing, you pray. Or if you're a Christian, you go to church every Sunday. If you're Jewish, you do like all these other things. If you're, figuring it out, maybe you're meditating, maybe you're working on yourself. You're trying to, figure out what you do believe in. Like I think it's just more about like where your faith lies and how you want to practice that faith. And I think like in terms of the connection of religion and spirituality, like I think religion is you having that faith and believing that there's a higher power, and then like your spirituality is you like acting on that faith. And I think, at least for me in my experience, like I never like how to explain that. I don't know. I think my experience is just really interesting. Like I think it was just like very diverse. Like we go to like a bunch of different kind of churches growing up, and it wasn't really like, I don't want to say it wasn't stressed in my household, but I think my dad was just very mindful on whose church to go to. Like I think he learned very early on, like you just can't go to everybody's church. Like you just can't be showing up to churches because like one, the devil goes to church too and looks for innocent beings in a church as well. And so it's just like, I think just being mindful of like the type of energies you walk into, and like you can't go to everyone's church. And I think it's just smart to figure out what you have faith in and what helps you and what's going to serve you. And I think that helps you find like where, like, I guess your religion or what you want to choose to believe in, I guess.
I'm agreeing on that. And I have another question for you. So I want every one of us to like state whether we're religious or we're spiritual, or you can be both. You can be religious and spiritual at the same time. So we can start with you. So are you religious or spiritual? What would you consider yourself to be?
I would say spiritual. I wouldn't really say I like Christian, but I think I always said that because like we weren't raised like, I don't know, like those people that like I'm not one of those people that are gonna spit the Bible to you. Like I'm not gonna sit and tell you like, oh, Matthew chapter this says this. Like I can tell you nothing about a specific Bible verse. Like I couldn't spit the Bible to you if I wanted to. Like I know certain verses that like obviously are very important, but like so I feel like I can't say I'm Christian, even though like I feel like I've gone to like Christian churches, and like we used to do like we go to Sunday school or like Bible study on Wednesdays and stuff. But I feel like even then, like I really can't say that I'm fully Christian, but I would say I'm spiritual. Like I do believe in God. I do believe in a lot of the stuff that they say in the Bible. Like I think there's stuff in, like I believe in songs. I believe in revelations. There's like a bunch of different parts of it I do believe in. But I don't know. I'm also very open minded. So like I'll like see other religions and kind of see how they practice their religions and be like, well, I mean, like, who's to say they're wrong? Like, so I don't know. Like, I think me being open-minded as well kind of makes it hard for me to be like, oh, like, I could be this or that or this. So I think being spiritual kind of helps, like, a basis of like, I believe there is a God, and I believe in these different principles that strengthen my relationship with God. So yeah, I think it's kind of hard because I feel like most of the time you have to be religious because it makes sense, because it's like, oh, you're Jewish, you do this, or you're Muslim, you do this. But I feel like when you say you're spiritual, it's like, well, what does that even really mean? Like, if you're spiritual, so like it's like a journey of faith. I feel like.
Yeah, makes sense. You wanna go Lethabo?
Yeah, I guess I never thought of being both religious and spiritual as a separate thing because, as I explained my background, yes, I grew up in a home where we went to church, Anglican church. I grew up and I'm going to a non-denominational church because I didn't like what the Anglican church or like any denominational church was doing. They were very systematic and they were kind of making you feel bad for anything or even questioning the Bible. I mean, I went to confirmation classes. I've done literally everything in the book. Trust me, I can quote the Bible. So because we had to go to confirmation, and I guess like even at that time, at that young age, I wanted to know who God is, but for myself, not because I'm forced to do that.
Yeah.
So I guess I had my own encounter with God, and I've had my own fair share of miracles and testimonies happening. In terms of spirituality, I think it's also very specific. What kind of spirituality are we talking about? As I explained, I have my fair share as well of being spiritual, experiencing different spiritual encounters. To know that it is possible to still believe in God, because God is also within us, right?
Yes.
And still be spiritual because everything around us, there's so many things happening, there's so many energies, there's so many things that we encounter every day. Even when you sleep, you don't know what comes in that night, right? For your protection. So I feel like it is possible to still be both religious, believing in God, doing, like fastings and this for discipline, right? But also being spiritual is just like what you practice for yourself, like self-love. There's so many things you can do in terms of meditation, doing any spiritual practice that you feel like you want to be open to. So I think it is possible to be both, and I've never really thought of it as separate because I've always just been doing that, but I guess I could say both.
Yeah. So for me, I think when I was younger and I was growing up, I was more religious than spiritual. And in terms of, I was raised a Muslim and I went to Arabic school. I learned the Quran. I can read it. I mean, I was learning the meaning, and then I had to like move here, and I'm just like, 5 salat, Ramadan, you fast, you just have to do it. Like, my mom is not going to watch you not do it. But when I moved here, and I was also older, I don't think it's because I moved. I think it was more because when I got older, I did try to like go to a couple of Islam gatherings, and I didn't like it. I feel like religion is not really for me. I don't know if that's the right thing to say, but or let me say religion gatherings, because I feel like a lot of people, they're not there to actually focus on serving God. And I'm not judging them, but I'm kind of judging them. So
I get what you're saying. Yeah.
but like, and then they're just more there to like mind the businesses that does not concern them, and I kind of do not like that. Like, if I'm here to connect with God, I want us to be doing that. And I just kind of like back away a little more from religion, and I got more spiritual. And you would still see me like, I'm still like spiritual Islamically, if that makes sense. Like, I can be in my car and I can pop up like Al Kunut and be listening and reciting along and saying amen. And sometimes when I have a chance, I do like a couple of salats. I will do like nafila and I will pray. And if I can't do nafila, maybe I'm on my periods or maybe I'm at work at night, I will just pray the Christian way. I wouldn't say Jesus or something. I would just pray to God. I'm not saying Jesus is bad, absolutely not. Like, I've been to church before, and not one time, many times, and I listen to Christian songs a lot. I just like the fact that I can hear what they're saying, and I can, call God, praise Him in my own language. So Christian songs does that for me, and I can understand exactly what I'm saying, and I feel good when I'm listening to Christian songs, especially the one that is in Yoruba. And I just feel like I'm more spiritual in terms that everywhere I am, sometimes I'm always praying. Like as I'm walking, randomly I'll just be like, God, please help me. God, I thank you. God, you are wonderful. And I'm just always like personalizing my own connection with God, and I'm not following any certain rule or any certain way of communicating with the supreme being. And will I love to? I would love to be religious, because I can still be religious on a personal level. Like, I just have to make sure that I'm doing what I need to be doing. But I don't know. I feel like I fall off religion a lot more, and I'm more spiritual than religious. But I would love to be more spiritual, and I would love to also like work on me being religious, because I feel like in the end they could, it's better if you have both. Like you can be spiritual, meditate, and all that, and you can also like serve God, follow a book. Like me, I would follow the Quran, the way God wants to be served, and everything like that. So, I mean, I don't know. That's just how I feel right now.
I mean, for me, I'm a Christian, but I don't really pray that much. I don't go to church. It's been a while since I've been at church. But for me, like, even just going to church, like, I mean, I'm not trying to offend any of the pastors out there or anything, but I feel like not like most of these churches, it's more of like a scam to me. Like it's business. Like
Yeah.
you go to a church,
Tax write-offs.
you go to a church in Nigeria, like the pastor's over here asking like, oh, if we drop 1 million, like your blessings will be a lot. Every time I'm like, so in order for me to get blessing from God, I have to give you a million. Like it doesn't even make sense. Like you're asking for all this high amount, and for me, it's just like, why am I even coming to church when I can just be in my house and just pray with my family? Like I can just talk to God one on one. Like why do I have to go to some? Because some of these pastors, to be honest, they're fake.
Yeah.
They're literally fake. It's like they're using this as a church for business to fund their
They
lifestyle.
take the money.
They take the money.
Private jet.
That's and all this.
Give you blessings.
Because I'm like,
They have
This
private
much
jets.
because for me, I'm like, how is a pastor like? They don't have another job. Like most of these pastors don't have another job, and they're like, oh, I'm like, how are you making all this money? You're buying a Bentley and all of
They're
this,
using offering money.
but when the offering money is supposed to be for like church stuff, so for me it's like, that's why I'm the kind of person like, even on my Instagram, I wouldn't post about God, but I believe in God. Wouldn't do that because, for me, it's like I'm not really religious. Like people that be doing that, like especially when they know that they're doing bad stuff, and then you be posting about God and all of this, like oh, be the certain way. I'm just like, you're being a hypocrite. Like I would just never do that because I'm like, I know I'm still gonna go sin again tomorrow. Like I'm not gonna be over here talking about God and all that stuff. Like nah, I'm not that kind of person. Like nah. So for me, I mean, I do believe in God, but I'm just not prayerful like that. But I wish I could be more prayerful, but
Yeah, me too.
But sometimes, I just get distracted with other things. I used to go to church all the time. Even when I came here to LA, like I'll go to church every Sunday, but then like I just like stopped. Like even like the churches here in America is like, I mean, you go to church, they do the praise and everything. Like for me, like sometimes it's just kind of like boring for me. So I'm just like, I'd rather just stay home and just pray. Like if I have a problem, I'll just talk to God one on one.
Yeah, I really feel you on that. Honestly, it's just you wanna go.
Sure, I'd say I'm more spiritual, mostly because my family wasn't that religious. I mean, like my direct family, my parents and siblings weren't very like religious, but we did go to church, occasionally here and there. My mother did pray before every meal, and we did, certain things here and there, but we weren't like very strict and going every single Sunday and, just doing some of those other things, just not very often. But also the families and friends that we had that were very religious, they weren't really doing good things. And I sort of became a little bit discouraged about even getting more into church and learning more about God. I started to get a little discouraged because seeing people do like such bad things, and those are the main ones, like,
And they're the
oh, I'm at church every Sunday, or they're the pastor or the pastor's children. And
Yeah, it's
The pastor's children
yeah,
are not to
and
be
it's
trusted.
yeah. So as I became a little bit less interested, is when I started to read a little more about spirituality. And I feel like as long as you're raised with the right morals, like my family instilled in us, treat others how you want to be treated,
yeah.
be considerate of others, be kind to others, be forgiving. And I feel like as long as you believe all of those things, you treat people right, then, it shouldn't really matter that much whether you can, say I'm super religious or I'm spiritual. As long as, you have the right morals, you treat people well, then I feel like that's what's most important.
Treating people because you
Yes.
could
Come
go
to
church.
you.
Yeah.
Because you could go to church every single day of your
Yeah.
life. If you're not treating people well, and if you're not doing zakat, which is like giving people that are in need, and you're not, we all sin. And even in my own perspective / religion, there is no sin bigger than the other. Like sin is sin,
Yeah.
and we will always sin. And of course, God
Yeah.
will always forgive us. But I feel like the first thing we need to learn before religion, like you were saying, is good morals. Treat
Yeah.
people well. Don't cheat people.
Yeah.
Give the poor. Like, just do basic good deeds.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's the first step in
Yes.
before religion, in my opinion.
I agree.
So goodness, honor.
Like I've been here listening to everyone and trying to figure out what exactly I want to say. So I'm gonna first start with Lethabo, what she said. There's one thing I understand is that I feel like we're mistaking the difference between religion, religious, and spirituality. Your religion, it's a belief. That's where you go to, and that's what you believe in. That's maybe your religion. Being religious, see, you can, if you say you're religious, then you have to be spiritual. But if you're spiritual, you don't have to be religious. I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say. If you're religious,
I see what you're saying.
for you to say I'm religious, then you have to be spiritual, because there's some deep thing you need to go to, which are not, because you praying is being spiritual. Let me tell you, if you let me tell you, if you're praying, who you're praying with, you don't know what you're praying to, right? You're
Some
praying
people could
your
be following
belief.
religion and they don't have one single connection.
That's why I said
just
if
pray.
you
They
that,
just do
that's why
it.
you're not
have a
religious.
purpose.
You're not religious. That's what I'm
I
saying.
mean, they are religious because
No,
they're
you
practicing
can't
the
call someone
religion.
for you to say you're religious. If you want to
If
say
you're
I'm
practicing
religious,
the religion, you're religious. Like, for example,
I can follow every step of Christianity. But I'm not religious.
I'm gonna say this. Like Islamically, for example, you have to do 5 salats a day, and you have to do zakat, and you have to fast in the month of Ramadan. Like there's something that is compulsory, right? And then a religious person, everybody will know that they're religious. They will always go to mosque. They will do 5 salat, morning, afternoon, evening, and then night. They will do every single thing, right? And then Ramadan time, they will fast. They will feed the poor. They will do zakat.
I think you're getting something wrong.
They're being religious.
I'm not talking about
right?
what people say.
No, not what people say. Like I'm saying, when you see somebody that is religious, you will know. But you do know that you can be religious doing all of those stuff, and you're not spiritual at all. In terms of
That's why
you're
you're
just
getting
doing
it
but
wrong.
you don't have a connection with God.
Now I'm talking about the main thing of if people don't see you or people see. I'm talking about the main definition of whether people see or people don't see. Being religious, you have to, because you cannot tell me if you forget that, oh, you're following the rules. Yeah, that's just you showing off. That's hypocrite. You're just going everywhere. But
People
not
don't even know that they're not spiritual. Actually.
yeah, no, you have
Because
to.
a lot of
If in Christ that now you're okay, maybe Muslim, maybe you don't have to be spiritual.
Even
Now let me tell you why you need to be spiritual in religion. See, if you're religious, as you say you are, as a Christian, even praying, you're also praying is spirituality, because
But
you're
some people don't believe in
you
it.
don't believe. That's why you don't. But naturally, you're supposed to believe in what you're praying. That's why I said you can say I have a religion, that I go to. That's you just having a religion. But being religious,
And that makes you religious, actually.
you being religious, it's not just following the rules or following the 10 Commandments or following. You have a spirit, like you're also spiritual. You're not like you're spiritual. You have a like a spiritual mindset. You're praying because you're not. I haven't seen Jesus, right? But I have a mindset that there's Jesus. That's me being. I'm not being spiritual. Like okay, in my head when I'm praying, I'm feeling okay. I'm talking to Jesus. I'm believing. There's a spiritual mindset in me that's like okay. That's now okay. I'm not connecting. That's see without if you're religious, you can't be religious without being spiritual. It doesn't
be.
no. For
I'm
me,
telling
I
you,
was so I was so different. You can be spiritual. You can be spiritual. See, no, I think you're
but you're
different.
just following the
Let
rules.
me tell what you let me tell what you're thinking. You can be spiritual. You can be so spiritual, but not religious. Like you can meditate, be spiritual, and go. But if you want to say you're religious without being spiritual, it doesn't work.
You know
out.
why I say I have to disagree with that? So I don't want to have a whole Christianity and spirituality
Okay.
debate. But the reason why I say that, I've seen in some churches, right, when you go to them, they will literally preach, because you know how we know meditating and working on yourself, self-love, and other spiritual stuff as spiritual, right? And when it comes to the churches, they tell you, oh, don't do yoga. Yoga's evil because of the poses. Oh, don't meditate because meditating is not what Christians do. That's why I say there's a difference there, right? Because yes, you can for yourself, if you believe that yoga or meditating is not evil, then you can still practice that for your self-discipline, right? Or
Yes.
the way you feel meditating, or like I don't know how to explain it, but it'll be done the way you believe that it's not seen as evil, or the way the other Christians, the staunch Christian people would see it as.
Yeah.
But I almost got what you were saying about if you are religious, you have to be spiritual because of the practices that spiritual people do. But I think if we
And I feel like you're coming from a civilized mindset.
I don't think you guys really understand
that
what
makes sense.
I don't understand what you're trying to say, but
see
you're
what
not
you're
understanding what I'm trying to
I
say.
I see what she's
See,
saying,
that's
actually.
it's not about what
But-
pastor says or what people say.
is it
or
more
what,
the praying
no, it's
and
not
the
about
what?
see. Okay, you're
It's
praying.
about the intention.
Pray,
That's the thing.
Yeah,
It's about the
thank you.
intention because I
See,
can
So,
see why.
so spirituality
I'll tell you right
is
now.
Also,
intention.
spirituality is very
Religion
develop-
is you
if I
I feel like I didn't
whatever
develop
they tell
I feel
you.
like I didn't develop a relationship with God until like now. where I
Until now,
go
but then
into my
there was a
because
time
we-
you were
because-
going to church because it just
But
makes
she
sense to go
wasn't
to church.
religious.
Because you
Right,
said
but that-
Christian,
but
so
but
your religion
but
was not necessarily
but I wasn't
spiritual.
spiritual.
But
because-
It was not, right?
Because I'm
But
just-
you were
but you
religious,
also
but
wasn't
not
religious.
spiritual. Is that what you're saying?
Okay,
Yeah, because
let me
you're
ask
just,
you
That's what I'm
personally.
saying.
but I feel like you're like in that sense for me, I feel like it was just going to church just
Going
to do
and
it.
you're religious.
But
You're
just-
going
but
to church because you're
But
practicing your
no,
religion.
spirituality is so very different.
That's
from
why I said that.
any type of
That's why I
religion,
said
from
you can be
Christianity,
spiritual.
Muslim, or
You can be
Jewish, it's
spiritual.
so
You can be.
different.
That's why I say you can be spiritual and not be religious.
But
you can. I personally, I will say this again. You cannot be if you
But then
say
that's what
unless
you believe.
unless you say okay. Because now I feel like all of you as us bringing up maybe you go to church and pastor say offering or this that or you see even though you follow a rule. For example, now okay, I might follow a rule of they say read this. They say read this book now from now till there and write an exam and I'll still free. I still read that the
But
same
you're
way.
still reading
Wait,
exactly.
I still read that the same
You're
book.
still religious.
That does not make me brilliant. You know, people will see me and they say this guy is
Exactly.
brilliant.
You're saying the same
Now,
thing.
no,
actually.
no,
So you're
no,
following a
no,
set
no,
of
I see
beliefs.
what- don't touch me, don't touch me. You're taking my
Okay.
mindset.
I see what
No,
she's saying
she's taking
because
my- you're taking my mindset.
there are people that go to church
You can.
and you don't know what you're there for.
You are just
You-
going
like,
because
it's
it's
just-
your
it's
religion.
just-
You're a
it's just-
Christian.
right, that's what I'm saying. It's just like people.
You're
No,
You are saying
It's
what
your
people
religion.
think. But how are you are saying what people think. It's not. It's about your person. I'm talking about you yourself.
Then your
some people
spirituality
don't have
is
that.
personal.
That spirituality is
But
personal.
religion
Do you
is
think
more
you-
of like a
No,
gathering.
no,
What
no,
set
Anjy,
of
no,
people
no.
believe
But
in.
also,
That's not it.
you know,
That's not it.
Just
That's
to
not
also
it.
correct you, there, spirituality, like it has different like meanings, right?
Yeah.
To many people.
Also
So that's why
true.
I would say I would disagree with that, because so many people are spiritual in this world. So many people.
Yeah,
They're
there's
not
different-
religious,
yeah.
but they're spiritual, right? But it means different in their like whatever they believe in. It's very different.
I accept.
Like,
I
as
accept
Africans,
that.
we have our own spirituality. Like I said, like you mentioned, back in
Like
the
the
days,
traditional
you
thing.
know,
Yeah.
worship like water goddess. We also have that in our own way. We call them sangomas, right? They're the people that get callings. That's spiritual. Very, very different from being
Yeah.
religious.
That's why I say you can be spiritual, but not religious. That's the first. That's why I made that statement. You can be spiritual. You can, because your spirituality is so many ways. I don't have to be religious for me to go in a deep incantation and do things. But if now I say I'm religious, not about what people say. If I say, me personally, if I should tell me right now, I'm not religious. I go to church every Sunday. I follow. I don't even think anybody read. I read Bible. I pray. But I would say I'm not religious because I haven't gotten to the place I want to be in spirit with God. That's why I would say I am not religious.
But you
if
do believe in God.
I do believe in
So
God.
that means you do believe in God, but you don't put a label on your belief.
I do believe in God. I go to church. I follow all the
leans more
rules.
on
But yeah, but I won't say
spirituality
I'm religious because I am not like there's a spirit, just like how there's a place you go in the spirit that'll be like, okay, now I think I'm filled and I'm not religious. But not now, like I don't like, even though you don't say you, unless you're just being a hypocrite, there's difference between being a hypocrite that everybody say, oh, this person must go to heaven, but you know yourself that you're not going to go to heaven and you're just pretending. You're not religious, you're just showing people that you're religious.
Right.
But do you think
but then
you're religious? Like,
that's where. Do you want to finish? I don't want to put in.
no, because I know you already have a mindset that religious is like your spirituality and
Not a
everything.
mindset thing. I was just saying that religion, like I said in the beginning, to me, the way I interpret it, and of course, it's okay to disagree because everybody have different ways they understand something. That's very fine. But the way I understand is that religion, and you people should not forget, like Shola was saying, there was a time that everybody was doing traditional stuff. Religion is something most religion go by a book. Christianity go by the Bible, and Islam go by the Quran. And then we practice what that book teach us to practice, and whatever like the previous people before us has practiced before. Like, this is how you do certain stuff. This is the things you do. This is how you do in this religion that we all have. Religion, Islam is a religion. Christianity is a religion. And whoever is practicing a religion is religious.
No,
right?
No.
Let me finish.
Okay, no.
So that's to me. If you're practicing a religion, you're religious. If you're going to church every Sunday, you're doing offering, or you're going to mosque, you're doing all this, you're doing every single thing that the book asks you to do in that religion. You're religious, in my opinion.
That makes
Now,
sense, yeah.
spirituality. Hold on, let me finish, please. So if now, the point she made was that you can't be religious if you're not spiritual, and I am saying that you could be, because at a point in my life I was religious and I did not even have any connection with any god or anything. I just allow Akbar because that's what we do. Like, I would literally do salat, and then I would just go. I would do the way they said we should do it. Like, you do ruku, you do sujood, you salamo. Like, I know every single rule to follow, but I just do that.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Let me ask you one question, please.
Okay.
Let me ask you one question. Do you believe in God, right?
Let me finish.
But I don't want to ask one that question. Okay.
Even at that time, I believe God exists, but the connection I have with Him is
Was
not deep.
disconnected.
I was just
disconnected.
practicing what I was told I'm supposed to be doing, but I necessarily don't have a personal connection or a personal way with my body, my mind, and the supreme being, and how I think and how I. You get what I'm saying? Like,
I
the
see
way
what
I
you're
vibe.
saying, because
I get what she's
no,
saying too.
see what you're saying, like it involves intention. Like,
I'm not
I
talking
feel
about
like-
seeing them.
I
I'm
feel
not
like
talking
I
about
feel
when
like
you're
you can't
small.
go in- I feel
Like
you
when you're
can't go
small.
into like, I do think, like, if you do, like, when it comes to the rules and stuff like that, I think that does make you religious because you're practicing
You're
the religion.
practicing. You don't have
But
any
if you're
intention.
going, but if you're
intention is
going into the religion, going to church and doing this, but there's no intention for you, why are you being there? Why are you showing up every Sunday?
So that
why are you doing
intention
this?
is your
when that
spirituality,
when that
in my opinion.
when that intention isn't there,
If
that's
your
where
intention
I
about
feel
going
like
to
believing in God alone. If you're just going to, because in my head, if you're just one of those people that are, oh, I'm going to church because I'm better than you, God loves me. Like, and it goes back to what you said. Being spiritual is about you. So why are you going to church to impress other people? I think that doesn't make sense to me. So I can see what you're saying. Like, if you're religious and you're going and you're practicing religion, but that spirituality isn't there. Yeah, because that intention isn't there. You're just going to church every Sunday just to say you're going to church every Sunday, but there's no personal intention or spiritual intention with your higher being in that religion you're practicing.
And you're just going there.
Right.
You are religious, though, but you're not being religious.
You're religious, but there's no spiritual. Wait. Just practicing religion.
You guys are confusing
Because if you're just
let me tell you.
Why? I think it's what you believe in, and I feel like there's no right or wrong.
No, I know there is no. Do you know the funny thing that
still believe in that? She'll still believe in that.
Yeah. Do you know the funny thing that all of us were all in, like, we're all saying the same thing, but we're just making it's just one button that needs to like press on for all of us to understand.
But it won't.
Let me tell you. No, see, you're talking about everybody when they're young. They're always forcing us to go to church. I don't know where I'm going. I don't know that I'll go and meet Nkechi's son. And then Nkechi will play together. That's where I'm going. That's my mission of going, just to play or Sunday school. So that they'll share biscuit and I'll eat biscuits. That's my mission of going to church.
But
when I was young,
actually religious.
I wasn't religious. I would never say I was religious. I'm just, I have a religion and I believe in
practice, right?
It's a practice.
That religious is your practice. Like I say, like going to confirmation classes, doing this, Sunday school. That's you doing a practice under that specific religion. But when it comes to you being spiritual, it's a whole different topic.
And you could be spiritual in your religion.
True.
You could be, and you could not be. Because you might not even know.
You don't have to,
I know that. And you know why I agree with her? Because, like, coming from an Anglican church, right? The reason why I also left is because when I saw some pastors coming up who were spiritual, that were able to give prophecies. That's being spiritual.
Yeah.
Right? That's engaging in a different,
that's an higher level
entity, right? That you can point out something at someone and prophesy or like, whatever that is. And at the time, the pastor we had at the church hated that because he didn't have the gift. Right? So he literally fired everyone in his like praying team because like this is not what we do in this church. It's an Anglican church. We don't do that.
So it's into religion.
Yeah. Right? Whereas now if you go to a non-denominational church, you get pastors, people that can prophesy, people that actually have a spiritual, thing. When you pray.
Because some people actually have this gift with God.
That's
like they can see stuff that we cannot see.
Exactly. But the church, like my Anglican church at the time, he didn't like that because it's like, it's distracting people. You can't just stop in the middle of the
He's more interested in following the book.
Yeah, he was more
religious
on that, right? He was more on that, and I had a problem with that at the time because I'm like, it was my first time because I knew people getting prophecies from traditional healers, right? Mediums. That's how I knew people could get prophecies. Now, seeing that in a place of worship, I'm like, oh, okay, so it does exist. Now, here's a pastor who's like, nope, we don't do this in this church. This is an Anglican church. The Bible says no. Because for him, he was like following, and I know there's a verse, like I said, I can quote this in Leviticus, right? It says, don't go seeking people that will tell you your future. He kept saying that, but I'm like, we're so stuck on this. God also allows us to get messages from the future so we know what's there. Yeah. So why
you to send angels to communicate?
Exactly, right?
It said he actually talked to some people through the dream.
Right.
And like there's just some people that they actually have a closer connection to God than others. And some of them are religious, some of them are not. And there's some people that they're so religious, but they don't have that connection with God. Like they're just doing,
there's a disconnect somewhere.
They're just going by the book. They're just religious because they're following a religion. And religion, I don't know nowadays religion is really crazy because we all believe that tradition is bad and now everybody is Christian and Muslim.
No, can I tell you, ever since I came to America, I am more like I believe more in my culture, like traditional stuff, like traditional.
I've been digging Shango
because that's what our ancestors used.
Yeah, because colonization fucked us up.
I've been digging Shango and all that cultural shit. I mean, I'm not worshiping them or anything, but I'm not against them. Like when we're younger, they make us feel like they were bad. But nowadays, I'm not against Shango, I'm not against Ifa, I'm not against Orumila. In fact, I want to know more about them because I felt like this modern religion that we all practice, I'm not saying it's bad, but it come with colonization. You don't know. We can't just rule out the traditional stuff and say they're bad. We don't know whether those ones are good too. They just bring it to us and say this is the good one. Take this one away. Same with every other stuff that is not religion.
So who's to say what's good and what's
bad? Who's to say that? That's why
supposed to be
sometimes
your
I get
relationship with your high.
Which I'm telling you, like that's why sometimes I get really tired of following religion strict rules, and I'm telling you, there's so many people that they follow it so strictly. That's why you will see them, they will end up being hypocrites because they follow the rules so strictly, and then you expect more from them, especially if you are spiritual. You know you will sin. You expect yourself to. When you're not seeing those people that are going to church back to back, but they're still cheating on their partners, or they're doing weird
I feel like
stuff.
people like that do that shit so they can go around and like try
because they're just religious.
like, or not even that. Like I feel like they're trying to it helps their conscience, or they feel like they're trying to like save the world or like be God's little servant. Like, oh, I'm here to judge just like God is doing. And I'm like, you are not God. Like you're not here to judge. You're not here to do this, that, and the
Nobody
third.
can cuckoo stress.
Like
Do what kind
I'm just like this is like none of that makes sense to me. So I'm just like I can see like where goodness was coming from. Like
I actually see where she
like, I can see how
I'm not gonna argue anything more about that.
Practice
But
a religion and not be
even
religious.
I've not said anything that's gonna convince me that what
you don't
what
have
I
to
said.
be
convinced.
So
You don't
for
have
my style simply meant that
There's
for
nothing to
you to
convince.
be religious, you need to be spiritual.
I mean, I get what she said. Like as an adult now, if I want to be religious, I will have to bring my spirituality into my religion. Does it make sense what I'm saying? That's the way I'm interpreting what she's saying, because I don't want to just be like, I disagree, like she's wrong. I'm not saying she's wrong. I was just, trying to make my own point. But at the same time,
If I want to, that's why you just say it in a sweet way.
no, but if I want to interpret what she's saying with the way I understand, like if I want to, when you understand what somebody is saying, like you try to understand where they're coming from, kind of thing. If I want to say I understand where she's coming from, I will put it in a way that as an adult now, not every adult is going to be like that, but if you want to be religious, at least be spiritual. Bring your spirituality into your religion. And not actually be spiritual, like, and not actually have a connection. Like, don't be wasting your time going to church and not actually, like, especially now that you need it, like.
But like, okay, just to wrap it up, like, and I get what you're saying, right? But I think just from my experience, right, when I started being more in tune with like spirituality, still being religious, right? Still going to a very Old Testament traditional church. Like I said, even though our pastor used to quote the Old Testament a lot, Leviticus, Deuteronomy, about what not to do, the holy living, don't eat meat that still has blood in it, like people have red meat that's still red, like in funerals, for example. I don't know how you guys do in Nigeria, but in South Africa, if someone that's close to you dies, they still cut a part of your hair.
Yeah, and
we do that as well, right? In the Bible, it's there, like don't cut your hair, as an offering to the dead people.
Leave us alone. That's Ibote.
So it did kind of clash as well with me, like being very religious. I used to be very religious, right? But then getting into the whole spirituality, I'm like, well, it's clashing because we cut our hair, we have piercings, we still eat meat that still has a little bit of red in it, so
Religion, when you go steak.
That's I'm like, sometimes it can clash depending on what you're following in the Bible if you're very religious. But if that doesn't bother you, because they even say don't go seeking, fortune tellers, like people go to tarot card readers, traditional.
But for you to go,
it can clash.
Lethabo, for you to go that far to say you're religious, that means you need to be like there is something because for me to say I want to start following the rules, like read the Bible and everything, I'm not just gonna do that without having an aim. I need I cannot start because it's time.
You do know that there was a point in your life that you were doing that.
I wasn't doing that when I was young.
If you were younger, okay, let me put it this way. When we were all younger, there was let me not personalize it to you. Let me generalize it. When we were younger, there was a time in our life that they were taking us to church. We were following all that rules. We're following this, and we did not have the intention. That intention you're saying, we didn't even know what we're doing. We're just following the rules. We're just You get what I'm saying? Like you're doing that thing, you're following your parents to go do it, you're performing that religion, but with no intention. You didn't know who you're connecting to. You just know that there's somebody they say you will be
You're just doing
connecting
what
to.
you're
But you
doing what you're
actually
told.
connecting.
You're just doing
You
what
can't
you're
compare
told.
when you were young to now. I'm talking about like now.
Even now, some people are still young in their mind.
No, you cannot compare. Then people were just playing. We were young. We don't know what we're doing. We're just
Anyway,
fun.
Sha, let's
The
wrap
words
this
of
up.
Lauren London,
Let's wrap this
you don't
up because
start
of
a
time.
relationship with God until you question God.
Anyway,
That's what I learned.
For me, I'm still gonna keep it. If you guys to tell us what you think, because this argument will not end here. Comment, like you need to comment. Do you think you can? For me, I still believe you can never be. If you say you're religious by sincerity, you're religious. That means you need to be spiritual.
Or
if you say so.
goodness
But
said
you don't
that.
have to believe like. But it's just
Period.
yeah. Like
I'm gonna say on what I said. Yeah, you gonna say what you said on something.
go kill you there. Now you start. Worship whatever, but you,
said that by
if you say,
fire.
if you call yourself a religious person, I am religious. The moment I tell myself I'm religious, all things are passed away. That means I'm now a new creation. Meaning I have a spirit, I have a new mindset, which is now I'm now a spirit, I'm now newborn. Then why you newborn? No, okay, now why do we Christians say whenever you go and tell come out for like sinners and
Born
you say
again?
born again? You're not
Change your whole life.
you're changing
to a new.
there are new things coming, right? That's when your spirituality comes. That's now you're reborn, and then that's when you
Anyway.
come in. So that's my own thing. Period. I'm
It's
done.
fine. It's fine. Like everybody, I'm very happy that we're disagreeing because that way, you know, everybody have different opinion and different perspective and different knowledge and idea of religion and spiritual is a very broad topic that if we say we should keep going, we'll keep
not
going
gonna finish
on
it.
and
We'll sleep
on.
on this
And
couch.
the funnest part is
sleep
we
here.
all have proof and points and things to
sleep
back it
here.
up. So we're going to stop here and we thank you guys for watching. Goodness is telling you that. Comment what you think. She needs to see our supporters in this comment
I think
section.
we're gonna go back.
Guys, and Lethabo needs to see our supporters too. So please comment down your opinion. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow us on our social media platform individually and follow Shotz and Glam as well. And we're going to see you in our next episode. Thank you guys so much for watching. Bye.
Bye.